morning. As you know, we've been running these Q&As since the middle of March, ever since this coronavirus craziness kicked off. They've always been one-to-one interviews with top journalists so far, from print, online, TV and radio. But today we've thrown that all up in the air, and we've got not one, but three guests on the show. And what's more, we're delighted that every single one of them is a PR industry leader at the very pinnacle of the business. We'll be looking at what's happened to them in the past 4 or 5 months, where they are now, and how they see the future. I'll introduce them in a second. But first of all, let me introduce myself. I'm Alan Edwards. I'm the head of news at 4media. And for decades, it was my job to decide what stories were published and what prominence they were given. So you can see where the poacher turned gamekeeper bit comes in. A reminder that I and my team at 4media are always here to help if we can, so don't be afraid to get in touch. Today, I'll be putting your questions to our amazing guests. Lots of you have sent them questions in advance, and there's a facility for you to tap questions in as we go along live, and I will try and ask them on your behalf. So quite technically difficult this, and so bear with us if there's 1 or 2 glitches. But first of all, it gives me great pleasure to introduce, in no particular order, first of all, Steve Strickland. He's the co-founder of Tailor Troublemaker. Steve describes Tailor Troublemaker as a multi-award winning creative agency offering West End service at East End prices. If we're talking Hoxton, I'm not sure that's a great thing. Anyway, his clients include Deliveroo, MasterCard, Pernod Ricard and Lyon. Next, we have Tom Winterton, director at the Romans. Tom's in his second stint with the Romans after heading in-house to run global comms at gig ticket app Dice during 2019. A former PR Week 30 under 30, Tom has spoken at Cannes and picked up a D&AD pencil for his work on the Twitter @JohnLewis campaign a couple of years back. Tom's division of the agency includes brands like Twitter, Ben & Jerry and Vistaprint. He's also a bit cheeky and wants to plug the fact that he's hiring account execs and account managers. Absolutely no chance, Tom. Last but by no means least, we have the wonderful Ali Maynard James, managing partner at Manifest. Ali is also a former PR Week 30 under 30, and she's a member of the Drums BD 100. And Manifest is PR Week's International Agency of the Year. Ali's in charge of the UK offices in London and Manchester, having previously helped launch their international divisions in New York and Stockholm. Her experience focuses on integrated creative campaigns and events to ensure effective communications across all channels. So, welcome everybody. Lovely to have you on the panel today. So let's get cracking with the first question. So it's obviously been a tough time. I don't mind telling you that here at 4media, we appear to be facing a very uncertain future at the beginning of all this. But you know, like everyone else in the industry, we've been working our butts off, and luckily we've been beginning to see things pick up pretty well. Although we realise that that's not the same for everybody. So, just how scary has it been for you? So, can we start first with Steve?
It's been, frightening. So the major problem being it's impossible to plan. So you had no real idea whether a client would be with you in 2 months' time, because they had no idea either. So it just meant that everything was more unpredictable. And that's hard to operate a business in. And it's also hard to look after people in. So, I don't think anyone's under any illusions that people have lost jobs because of the coronavirus, and people are delaying work and in some cases suspending work. But, like you guys, I think we felt a slight return because people realize you've just got to get on with it. And there's no point wasting for something to happen because you just don't know what's going to happen. So you've just got to crack on. So, as a business, we've managed to keep everyone, we've managed to keep the lights on, and we've managed to have some successes over that period of time. So, it's unpredictable, but you've just got to get on with it. Like there's no other answer. Just, just can't give up. So don't.
Okay, absolutely. Thanks. Ali, what about you? How scary has it been?
Well, I feel like this is a little bit of therapy, which is lovely. Thank you so much, Alan. But it's similar to Steve, I guess, and definitely for most agencies, the uncertainty of what we're all going through, and we're going through it now, is so hard to be able to give security for everyone, for clients, for team, for the business. And I think one thing that we've done is just try to be super transparent with all the decisions we're making. We're never going to please everyone. You're never going to keep, everyone kind of happy. But I think giving transparency just means that everyone kind of knows the decisions we're making, why we're making them, and hopefully they can see that we're trying to, secure ourselves moving forward. And I think similarly to Steve, we've managed to keep all our team, which I'm so happy about, because it's been a really tough decision. I think week by week that's changed. We've had times where we've just kind of felt like, what's going to happen next, because so much fee was dropping, so much, all the new business, the pipeline just bottomed out. But it does feel a bit more positive now. And I think, we are just kind of like, right, let's get moving. Let's really focus on recovery and rebuilding ourselves. And our clients seem to be doing the same as well. So we feel like we're just out of that real horrible dip and coming back up again, which is a lovely feeling finally.
Thanks, Ali, and I'm glad we're a bit of therapy for you. I picked up on what you said there. I think you're quite right. I think it's taught us all the need to be as nimble as we can, because the situation is changing day by day. So over on to Tom. How scary has it been for you?
I mean, back in March, April, scary was probably the word. But it sounds like similar to, our other guests, we took that call to put, people before profits. We're like, things will tick back up again, because, we'd had budget cuts and pitches drop out, but, things will come back again. Let's back ourselves to win some pitches. And I'd say in the last sort of 2 months, we have started seeing those green shoots coming through. And we've won clients and been able to hire people. And look, we are not out of the woods yet. And I'm sure at some point we'll talk about what the future might hold. But for now, definitely feeling less scary, maybe still just a tiny bit.
Absolutely. So moving on, I'm just wondering if the situation has actually encouraged any of you to make changes in kind of in the offerings that you offer to clients. I know here at 4media, I mean, we've added influencer marketing and SEO to what the products that we offer, and I just wonder if you guys have done anything similar. What changes you've made? Let's go first to Ali, please.
So we've never really just been a PR shop for clients. We call ourselves a unified brand communications agency. Lofty, I know. But the reason behind that is that, yes, we've always been kind of channel agnostic and an ideas company. So really just focusing on what's the creative for the client and where does it best sit, in the channels to reach the audience. So we've never really restricted ourselves from just offering PR, which, to be honest, has really helped us out and helped us navigate COVID with our clients by being able to offer social media, brand services, tone of voice, messaging stuff. A lot of our clients have taken a bit of a step back on their brand and gone, let's use this time when it's a little bit quieter to reset on things. So we've really focused on just offering a wider range of services and really emphasizing why it's important that each channel should amplify each other. And that's definitely kind of helped us get to where we are today, by being able to be more than, kind of a one-stop shop for clients.
Thanks, Ali. Tom, what about you? Have you changed your offering at all?
I'd say not really. At the Romans, what are we about? Making great work for our clients. And, this awful COVID situation, as we've been able to put out some good stuff over the last 3-4 months, campaigns for Twitter. We ran a comedy club for Calm, that was inspired by what's going on at the moment. For Badoo, we turned the Piccadilly Circus ad boards into a love letter to the NHS. So it's let us make different work, but to take a good thing out of it, like, has been a really interesting creative opportunity. So yeah, no real changes, just still doing what we're doing, but in a slightly different way.
Great. Steve, what about you?
No changes that we wanted to make, but you know, we were meant to have our first billboard campaign running in April, and that all got pulled because nobody was seeing billboards. So we've been forced into comms that probably we weren't ever planning to do. Like the Feed NHS stuff with Leon was really, like, it was a responsive campaign that happened so quickly that took a lot of senior involvement on a really like daily, half daily basis. And that was just being responsive, but like nothing that's been conscious that we've changed, because it still feels like it's April. Like it doesn't, like, everyone's just been working so hard and trying to not go insane as much as possible that I don't think we've ever gone, okay, we need to like reproductize. We've just gone, we need to just get on with it. So no conscious changes, but definitely the work has changed incredibly.
I think that the working harder than ever before is something I think that we probably all recognise. I just want to pick up on something that you said about actually getting success in what you do. I mean, I think at 4media, obviously, apart from at the beginning when it was all very, very different, we've actually been quite encouraged at the amount of media coverage that we've been able to land as time has gone on. So I just wondered, what about you guys? How's it been for you, Tom?
Yeah, we're still putting out campaigns and they're still getting the results. I tell you, an interesting thing talking to the publicists at the Romans is, a lot of the media we would typically speak to have been furloughed, right? There've been cuts all over the landscape. So that's making things a little bit harder. And of course, like, working from home, maybe we'll talk about that. I think it is a little, takes a little bit longer to, get that outreach done. But overall, like, I've been really happy with the results we've been generating, and we're hearing good things from our clients, but it's definitely been harder for sure.
Great. And what about you, Steve?
Where we've had results, they've been pretty incredible. But, some of our clients went, just disappeared. So, there were fewer clients, but doing bigger things. And the way that we work just suddenly massively changed. So we were suddenly doing TV ads for Deliveroo. And that's not something we were ever doing before. And, they were featuring our staff and like, so the results have been pretty incredible when we've had something really meaningful to say. But like Tom was saying about the media just shrinking and titles disappearing, it has meant that the stories that, you might have said, oh, let's just give it a punt, it might work. You just can't do that anymore. So we've had to like bin off any of those kind of filler stories that we'd normally do that, some clients really like and some clients really want. And, where we've had major successes, it's been incredible, but we've probably lessened our output and focused it a bit more. And I think that's been a good thing.
Yeah, I think one of the things that I think we've found is that the landscape has changed quite a lot, and sometimes we have been surprised at just how much pickup something has got. We would put something out that we thought was okay, and we'd expect to get some decent coverage, and suddenly it's just gone massive. And I honestly don't. I thought I knew, but I honestly, in these occasions, I absolutely don't know why. But just moving on, if we can. So I'd like to ask you about new business. So at 4media, quite fortunately, I mean, we've seen a fair amount of new business as the months have gone on. How is it? We get the idea that people are beginning to realise that that good communications are more important than ever, having been a bit dubious at the start. What's the panel's view on that? Let's go to Tom.
I think, look, as I said in that intro, but things have definitely picked up. So for example, one client we've taken on this period is Vistaprint, who you all probably know as the business card company, right? They've pivoted their business into face masks and shields and all the things that businesses need to reopen. So they've been a business that's actually seen an opportunity in this time. So when they came knocking on our door, we were, thrilled to win that, and that's been a great client. Obviously, not every business links back like that, but we've definitely seen an uptick. Those pitches that went cold in March, April, they're coming back. The budget seems to be returning, being briefed on things for Q3, Q4. So we are feeling really positive, which is why, and I know I had that cheeky plug, and which is why we're looking to hire. We want to start strengthening our team because we can see things coming through the door, and we want to make sure we've got the people to deliver on it. So feeling cautiously optimistic, I'd say, over here.
Great stuff. So Ali, what about yourself?
I think if this was a conversation back in April, I would have said what new business, because basically everything pulled out. Our pipeline was looking quite scary, and it was just a case of everyone just shutting their doors, it felt like. But right now, we're kind of battling a lot of briefs, but it's that we're seeing the briefs are changing. I think similar to what you guys are saying, that we're not seeing just, we want to, I think there's more depth to the PR that they're asking for now, which has always been great for us because we want to, build brands that change the world. And I think we're really seeing like briefs that are coming in that are letting us do that work, and that they've kind of become more purposeful. So for us, obviously that's ideal. And we're definitely kind of excited about the stuff that we're working on. But I think, there was a very kind of scary period where we're just like, where's all the briefs going to come from if everyone's just getting a bit scared and not going to put their money out there. But you've got those brave clients, like we took on Gusto just before the lockdown happened, and they've seen obviously exponential growth with a recipe subscription box service. So for clients like that have actually managed to excel during this time, others have actually adapted what they're doing. It's the same as Vistaprint have been offering, the masks, and who hasn't been selling masks at the moment as well. It's like actually being able to adapt, be agile. And we've been working with clients on what that looks like as well, doing a lot more kind of audience mapping for them, a lot more insight work to really help them navigate. I don't want to say the new normal and be that person, but to really help them understand where their market opportunities lie now, and working really closely with them on consulting them. So that's been really interesting for us.
Great. And Steve, what about yourself as far as new business and the way that you feel clients are viewing things now?
Yeah, we're rammed, which is great. And new business is always so hard because you're asking basically teams to work on clients that don't exist. So it always is. It's always like double timing people. But we are absolutely rammed at the moment with new business, which is nice.
Move on a little bit. Sorry, that was my phone, my home phone in the background. Nobody uses a home phone anymore, but anyway, somebody decided to ring. So we've all been working from home now for months, and at 4media, we still are in the main. So we've found, surprisingly, I think, that it works really well. So what about you guys? And what are your back to office plans, if any? So let's go to Ali.
So we actually opened our office this week. So we've obviously been working from home as has everyone. But with the big campaign work that we've been doing, we've just been really missing that collaborative working together. And I think the team has done an exceptional job of really navigating Zoom calls, constant brainstorming, ideation build up from their own homes. And I honestly, my hat goes off to them because they've just been fantastic. But actually there was a need for some people that just like, do you know what, we really miss the office, miss each other. Can we look at getting the office open? So yeah, as of Tuesday, we're opening 2 days a week. I think today no one's gone in because it's way too hot to travel. So, but it was so nice to see people's faces. Obviously, we've followed all the social distancing guidelines. There is more hand sanitizer in our office and I think chairs, but we want to make sure that we're doing it in a really safe way, that we're not putting our team at risk unnecessarily, and that we're also using all the tracking stuff. So it's a weird it's a weird coming back to the office, but it's definitely been so nice for everyone this week just to kind of have that joint space again.
Great. What about you, Steve?
I've not made any major decisions on it, to be honest. So we're all going back. We've got quite a small space, so we're going back 1 day a week, but we're having to do it like team splits or people volunteering on different days. But everyone will effectively do 1 day a week. But I'm kind of relaxed about it. Like, you know, I think everyone has to remember that not everyone has this like palatial mansion they can work from where, you know, people are diving in a pool behind them, you know, like, so for a lot of people it's important, for some people less important, and we'll kind of just figure it out. But the first calls we made when we were thinking about returning to the office were to our clients to find out when they would be going back and also when they wanted a face-to-face meeting with us. So a lot of our clients aren't going back until the new year, so I don't think we'll be making any major adjustment to 1 day a week until maybe the new year. Again, new business is much easier when you're all in one place. And also, like, you know, we've done a lot of pitches on Zoom and they are shit, so it would be good to get back into a room and pitch. So no major decision, relatively relaxed about it. You know, a lot of people live outside of London, their commute's terrible and they have to spend a lot of money. I'm not going to go in if all the pubs are dead. Like, there's just no point. So, like, we'll see how we get on.
I get that. I think at 4media we're very much the same, actually, and I think most of us have missed the kind of office banter and that kind of spark that you get with being with other people. But those of us who live outside of London definitely haven't missed the commute. I think that's right, isn't it, Ali?
Yeah, completely. I mean, I have to commute in from Essex, so I'm like, if I'm doing it, then there better be a pub at the end.
So, Tom, I know you've got a 6-month-old. What does the future look like for you and the firm?
What do you mean in terms of working from home, or just or the business, or my new son?
Well, you can feel free to tell us about your personal life. It's always good fun. But yeah, no, I was thinking about where it comes to going back to the office. You're going back to the office plans.
Yeah, so we're the same as Manifested. Sounds like we open back up on Monday, and we're doing 3 days a week, Monday to Wednesday, and being very softly with the hours, because people have all kinds of different commutes, right? So it's like, you want to come in at 10 to miss that rush, leave at 4. We're cool with that. Like, some people have been getting in early, leaving early. We're being super flexible with it, to be honest. And, you know, how's working from home been for us? I mean, I can see Steve's not a fan. We've had sort of mixed luck with these Zoom pitches. I feel like clients give you the benefit of the doubt a little bit when they can see into your home. It seems like it kind of relaxes everyone on the call a bit more. And then, of course, you know, we have, you know, like a lot of agencies, right? We have a lot of young staff in their 20s, early 20s. And, you know, you talk about not having palatial places to live in. You know, these guys live in flat shares in, you know, small places. They've been working on top of their flatmates for 4 months. And we ran a bit of a staff survey, and you know, the majority of people were chomping at the bit to get back. You know, we had 3 people start in April. They're working with teams they've never properly met. So it was a very good vibe earlier this week. And yeah, we went down our local, the Owl and Pussycat on Red Church Street. And yeah, it was pretty lively, but all, yeah, respecting social distancing, of course. Disclaimer.
Fantastic. All right, we're getting some questions coming in. I've got a feeling that I wonder if there might be 1 or 2 planted questions here, but anyway, we'll go with it anyway. So, a question to you all: what's a campaign that you've worked on in lockdown that you're particularly proud of? There you go. Let's go to Steve. Go on, Steve.
What's a campaign we've been proud of? There's a lot of work that's happened. The Feed NHS stuff with Leon was like pretty humbling and pretty incredible. And that went, you know, it was one of those stories where you can't keep up with the media requests, and that is always a dream. And the team worked really, really hard on it, like really hard on it. And we've done quite a lot of global work as well with MasterCard, which has been really exciting. So to be honest, I'm proud of pretty much everything we've managed to get out the door in the last 4 months. But then, you know, I own the agency, so if I'm not proud of the work, then we're pretty screwed. But I think, you know, there's some work that we've done for clients who've been long-standing clients, and we've done it for free because, you know, their businesses kind of fell off the route, fell off the cliff. So I'm proud of that work. But, you know, I genuinely am proud of everything we've been able to get out the door, because it's just not been as easy as it was last year was shit as well because of Brexit, but, you know, it's just not been easy. So I'm pretty proud of everything, I would say. That also says that I haven't done my research really.
No, that's smashing to hear. But just to warn you, I will come back in a minute and ask what you've done that hasn't gone quite as planned. But I'll give you time to think about that. So, Tom, what's happened in lockdown that you've been particularly proud of? What campaign?
Yeah, I think I mentioned the Calm Comedy Club for Twitter. That was a good one. So that was in the early days. That was kind of mid-April, before we were all sick of Zoom chats. And, you know, a really, really nice awareness raiser for Calm, and really decent viewership as well. Had about 1.4 million people tuning into that. And that's not some made-up PR figure. You can go and check them yourself. But it doesn't have to be to do with COVID or lockdown. Like last week, the Ella's Kitchen team put out the world's first eat-along book, Munchie Trunks, which is very, very close to my heart, with having a young son who's just exploring the world of food at the moment. So yeah, it's been good to make proper stuff. Even, you know, our friends over on the Santander account, Robbie Savage in a bath explaining financial fraud. I mean, you gotta love these campaigns, guys, at any time.
Fantastic. Ali, what about you? Something you're proud of?
I'm trying to rack my brains in. Like similar to you guys, there's been a lot of work that's gone out, and the team have had some real fun with some reactive stuff as well. So we took on hotels.com earlier this year, and one of the main things we've been doing for them is just like real reactive content. You know, jumping on news agenda things, like the typical kind of PR approach to it, but we also run their socials. So knocking up things there was one that we did for Barnard Castle, obviously with Dominic Cummins, about the hotels and everything. That got amazing pickup, and it just flew. And you just like that. That's the kind of stuff that the team love doing, because it's just quick, spontaneous, unplanned, and really kind of gives them a bit of a boost. We've also done some really great campaigns for Zipcar. Obviously, with the operation still moving during lockdown, we saw a real increase of people using their service, because obviously you don't want to use public transport, you want something more private. So really kind of adapting our scope with them and offering them more servicing. But the campaigns we did for them was all about, you know, where to go, where to get out of the city when it was safe to do so. And they've seen a really good response with that. And I know you're going to ask about campaigns that probably haven't gone so well, so we'll talk about that in a minute. But the other thing we've been super proud of at Manifest is at the very start of lockdown, we launched Lend a Hand, which was our own kind of platform. So Manifest creation that was all there to kind of help people in communities who maybe were, you know, vulnerable, high risk, weren't able to go out. And it just connected people using, you know, a simple ask and request and then fulfillment service that just allowed people to help out. And that's, I think, been there's such a nice thing that we can all take away from lockdown, is that everyone's just feeling much more connected with their own communities and neighbours. So that's the kind of shit we like doing as well. It's just like, what can we do as ourselves, not just for clients, but for our team. And that was really cool.
Great. So you've all been warned. So Steve, what didn't go quite so well? Come on, be honest now. You can do it.
Yeah, I mean, I can always do it. But you know, like we had to adapt a lot of plans. So, you know, we were meant to be running a big billboard campaign that we've had to delay, but like there isn't, you know, like I'm not gonna do. I'm just not gonna do that. I'm not gonna talk. I don't. There isn't anything. Everything has gone brilliantly.
Liar.
Okay.
Don't let you
You're
away
a
with that, Alan. Come on.
Very, very
bullshit.
PR. I'm not going to take pressure. So, Tom, where you go?
Yeah, look, I think, you'll always have stories that are tougher than you thought, right? And I think adapting is probably the word. So again, back to the Vistaprint example, right? We're looking to promote their masks, and so every change in rules and legislation is an opportunity for us, right? Having to wear them on public transport or in shops, and what we've found is that you'll land on a story, you'll be like, that's absolutely killer. You'll come to the week of the selling or launch or whatever it is, and the rules change and it's no longer quite right. And it's kind of back to the drawing board. But you know what? The client team there are fantastic and they get it and they understand that what was maybe right last week needs to adapt and change. And they're kind of with us on that journey. Like, I don't know about the rest of the guests on here, but I have never known such a fast moving news cycle. And getting it right 100% of the time is tough, right? So yeah, we're doing our best, and I think our clients understand when things do change. Mostly,
I think I absolutely understand what you're saying there. That sometimes the things that we have planned, we all know the timing in PR is completely different to the media. We work on much longer lead times than they do, and it's happened quite a lot. I know to us, and I'm sure it has to you, that the circumstances, the news agenda has changed just as you're about to go out with something, and you do have to be nimble, and that's something I obviously recognise. And I was thinking, when you were saying, Steve, that you couldn't think of anything that had gone wrong, I was actually struggling. I can think of stuff that didn't go well first time, so you may have had to rethink it. But in the end, I think it's kind of felt that we've been getting there. So, Ali, I'm not going to come to you. I might even know what you're going to talk about, but what's gone wrong for you?
Shall we hold each other's hand as I talk about this one, Alan? Will it make you feel better?
Yeah,
so we had an amazing campaign. Yeah, we had an amazing campaign and everything went well. Like the media selling was incredible. The broadcast coverage was exceptional. Shout out 4media. And just all the content created was exceptional. So it was called Gusto Table for 1 Million. And I'm just so devastated that on the night of the live stream, which is what I'm terrified of live stream now, especially this one, on the night of the live stream, the basically the Wi-Fi just didn't connect on the thing and wouldn't host our four celebrities hosting this like amazing dinner party for everyone to join. So yeah, that kind of sick moment where you haven't been sick, but you could definitely throw up a few times. But it was like that, really, and it's just gutting because the team didn't deserve it, the client didn't deserve it, everything was incredible, and then you just get let down because of shitty home Wi-Fi, and you're just like, come on, that is a lockdown fail, right? Nothing else could have done it, but you know what? We recovered really well from it. We were super responsive with the community, managed to laugh at ourselves a little bit, and just really focused on rebuilding that, for Gusto. And it's just gutting, really.
Well done for reliving that, Ali. I feel your pain.
Can I go and cry now in a corner?
And just when we talk about the difficulty of live streams, just to reveal to everyone watching now that there were meant to be 5 of us on here today, but we were meant to be joined by Polly Atherton, who's the managing director of Stir PR. And problem again, broadband has let us down, so but there's 4 of us and we're doing absolutely fine. So something we touched on in that discussion there was about pro bono work, and we've done a fair bit of pro bono work during the last few months, and I guess you guys have as well. How important do you think that is now and going forward? So let's go to Tom.
Yeah, I think, look, we all want to do our bit. And again, I think it's the 3rd time I mentioned the comedy club for Calm, but that was, pro bono with those guys. We didn't charge them for that at all. And I think, look, I think the great thing about pro bono briefs is it gives you a real scope to kind of show off creatively. But like one of our favorite things to do is come up with a great idea and then try and find someone who'll take it. And we just want to make great work. So if it's not a paying client, we'd definitely go for a pro bono option, because it introduces ourselves to a new company, charity, whoever it might be. And we've made some of our best work in that way. So definitely something we always look to do. And now there's just it's so much more important.
Absolutely. Steve.
I prefer to get paid, so that's important to me. And we've worked for Pride in London for 2 years, and that's pro bono as client, which is incredible as an organization, as a setup, as an event. So we love doing that work, and doing a partnership between like Deliveroo and Missing People. You could call it pro bono, but I think it's important that we always have a consistent level of pro bono work in the business. But we are a small agency, and we want to promote and bonus people, and you have to get paid for your work, and you have to get paid for great creative. So we will always do a little bit, but I really would rather be paid for creative excellence.
Yeah, I get that. Very honest indeed. Ali.
So we've done various projects over the year, and we're currently working on one which I don't think I'm allowed to talk about, but it should be coming out any day. It's obviously to do with masks and the difficulties of wearing face masks for certain communities. So really excited to be working on that, and I think it's a really worthy cause. And I think a way around Steve's issue of getting paid is certainly offering discounts on fee, mates rates on fee, but also like seeing if clients have their own charity partners that we'd be happy to kind of work on reduced fee for is a good way around kind of getting paid for creative. But we've got some cool stuff in the pipeline that we're seeing from a couple of briefs that we've pitched. So I'm crossing everything we get to do it.
Excellent. So a bit of a weird question here. I know that at 4media we've just done some research which has discovered for a client, which shows just how the social pecking order of the country's probably changed in the last few months. So people are saying that they've got more, they think they have much more affinity towards people like bin men and shop assistants. Their worth in society has gone up, whereas people like politicians and journalists, thanks a lot, have actually gone down. Where do you think PR fits in amongst this social pecking order? Real existential question there. Let's go to Tom. It's one for you, I think.
What are we talking about among ourselves, or what does the general public think to public relations practitioners?
Yeah, go for it.
I think they have a pretty dim view of them before, and I think they take a pretty dim view of them now, if I'm honest. I think it is, I'm not the first to say this, our profession does not have the best perception, and maybe we should all be doing more about that. But no, I don't know if PRs have changed in the Great British public's perception just yet.
Okay, Steve.
I think I'm up there with nurses as a respected professional, but I think as an industry, we are. The problem is you only see PRs in public when it's either a massive crisis, actually just full stop. Or like on the West Wing, or on TV. So like our image is a caricature of itself everywhere in pop culture. So I'm not expected to be like, hailed as a great professional. I'm not expecting people to go outside and clap for me. Like, sometimes people should, but I'm not expecting it. But I would say, yeah, PR is just a caricature. It's,
I'd clap for you, Steve. Actually, I've got a double whammy because, I'm a journalist and an old hack who's gone over to PR. So, I mean, everybody's going to hate me. What about you, Ali?
Oh, I always get really downhearted when I see like those shitty polls in the newspapers that like PR, worst job in the world. And you just like, really? Like the worst job in the world. Like I love my job and I know that I've had so much fun over the years doing it. And I think it's just, you've got to be proud of the work you're doing and not really care what the wider fucking public think, because otherwise you wouldn't do it. Like if you really went on what the world thought of PR, you wouldn't actually do it. But there are good guys in our industry. And I think, you've got to try and be one of the good guys to bring that reputation up, do the good work, make it super creative, get it stand out, and then, change that reputation ourselves. Like we're in charge of our own destiny. And the more great work we do, the better we'll be sitting, right?
Love it. Great answer. So I think I'm conscious of the time is getting away, and it's been really fascinating so far. So final question, and probably the most difficult question of the lot. I'm going to ask you all to get out your crystal balls. So, for instance, for just a bit of show and tell at 4media, I see our business growing because that's the way it's going. But I'm not quite sure about premises. So, do we really need these big offices that we've been in? And we've got great studio facilities, but, we've been managing quite nicely in lockdown without being able to use them. So do we need as much in the future? So that may well change. So the question to you is, how's the future looking? Where's it going? Let's go to Tom.
Where's it going? I just think all of those societal trends that were kind of ticking on and maybe, people were kind of talking about before are just going to be totally accelerated. So, sorry, you can probably hear a baby in the background. The environment, sorting that out, plotting a green recovery, people kind of making tentative steps to working at home, now totally, proven that it can work. Things like the shift from bricks and mortar to online, like that is only going one way. And I think anything that was a bit of a trend before is now just here. And this is the big shift that brings it, just brings it into the normal. Forget new normal, it's just the way things are now. We need to be ready to adapt to that and to advise our clients on how they can go through that, whether they're part of the new guard or a more traditional business. I think there can be winners in both, but one not to ignore.
Ali, how's your future?
I mean, feeling optimistic. We've just started our new financial year, which is always an exciting time because we launch new plans, new targets and everything else. So I'm feeling super optimistic at the moment. Whether that's, gonna bite me in the arse soon or not, I'm not sure. But I think you've got to keep the faith, and you've got to really, like Tom just said, you've got to be agile for your clients. You've really got to inform everything you're doing and make sure for certain, like, who you're talking to, what their new mindset is, how they're feeling, and just be super understanding that, people's like, I guess priorities have changed. And it's, people no longer need to be in London to have a London job. I've always commuted in from Essex, so I've never actually, lived in London and had that city experience. But for me, it's like even further afield, but our team is fully open to conversations about being flexible, flexible working. What does the office space look like? And we just need to adapt and understand that this is new, and this is actually quite exciting to kind of plan a new kind of way of working with everyone. But for us, it's about informing our clients, making sure they know the new audience, what their new mindsets are, how we can approach them, thinking a lot more digitally. Like Steve said about the above the line campaign and billboards, you just like, if you can't do that, then where is your audience sitting? How else can we target them? So just being, rolling with the punches and understand there's a lot more planning that's happening at the moment because things are changing super quick. But being able to do that, and I think just staying as positive as you can throughout these strange old times.
Indeed. And Steve, final word to you.
I'm really, well, if I'm honest, I am knackered. So I am excited that we all collectively in our agency get a bit of a break. So the pace of work has been absolutely incredible, because there, at the start, especially at the start of coronavirus, there was kind of panic around having to service your clients so well because the market was just kind of expanding and big agencies were suddenly like, you know, approaching our clients, like all that sort of stuff, like murky behavior. So I'm hopeful that things will just settle down a bit and that my team collectively can take a holiday, recharge themselves, and then kind of kick things off again. Like from our business point of view, I'm pretty positive about what the future looks like and what our, you know, I don't enjoy the financial planning as much as Ali, it would seem, but I definitely feel positive about the business and where it's moving and how it's moving. But I'm hopeful that there is a level where we just kind of settle down a bit and, you know, don't have to worry about things like second waves or like, you know, like who I'm mixing with and all that sort of stuff, or even like not hugging people. Like, so my hope and probably then my prediction is that things just calm down a little, if I'm honest.
I think we can all share that. And, you know, I think we'll call it a day there, but I'm going to send you all a virtual hug because I think this has been a really unique opportunity to actually chat to people like yourselves at, you know, really at the heart of the PR business. I found it really fascinating. I hope you've enjoyed it. I hope everybody watching has enjoyed it. So thank you so much, Tom, Steve and Ali, for such a fascinating and open discussion. We really do appreciate your time and your honesty. Yeah, absolutely. And it's you know, it's quite difficult sometimes to come on these things and open up, but I think you've all done that. Thank you very much. I've really enjoyed it. Everybody else, we'll be back in 2 weeks' time on Friday, August the 21st with another unmissable 4media live stream. Can't promise it's going to be quite as interesting as this one, but we'll do our best. We hope to see you then. And in the meantime, if there's anything I or any of the 4media team can do to help, then you know where we are. Get in touch with us and we'll do everything we can to help. Thanks again for our wonderful PR panel. I'm off outside to enjoy the sunshine, so enjoy your weekends, and as ever, stay safe. Bye-bye.